Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be learning a breakfast favorite, which is French toast. So first I'm going to go over the equipment that you'll be using for the French toast recipe. We'll be cooking our French toast on the griddle. You're also going to need a spatula, a plate to put the French toast on when it's done, measuring spoons, a liquid measuring cup, a mixing bowl, a whisk, and wax paper. Wet ingredients we're using today are milk, 4 eggs, vanilla extract, and cooking spray. Dry ingredients being used today are sugar, salt, cinnamon, and 8 to 10 slices of bread. You can use whole wheat bread, which I'm using for a healthier choice, or you could use white bread as well. For our French toast recipe, I'm going to quickly go over how to use the electric griddle. First off, I want you to take note of the design of the griddle. There is plastic around the griddle on 3 sides. You want to make sure that the plastic is facing you at all times. Also, you want to make sure that the cord is not touching the metal part of the griddle. Otherwise, the cord would heat up and get ruined. And also, you want to make sure that you are using dry hands when you're plugging in your griddle into the socket. Next, to turn on the griddle, you're going to use this dial here. Okay, they're all different temperatures. For step 1, it says to grease the griddle lightly with cooking spray or butter, which I'm going to do first. And then I'm going to turn on my griddle to 375 degrees. So I'm going to turn the dial until the orange light lines up with 375 degrees, which is between 350 and 400. I'm going to let the griddle heat up, and we'll test it when it's preheated. So our first step is to beat the 4 eggs in my mixing bowl. So I'm going to lightly crack the eggs into the bowl, one at a time, making sure you don't get any shells into the bowl. And I'm going to use a whisk to beat the eggs together. So they're nicely blended. You might want to tilt the bowl slightly to really combine the eggs well. So now we're going to add the rest of the wet ingredients to the beaten eggs. So I have my ½ cup of milk here, already measured. I'm going to pour that into the eggs. Next, I'm going to measure out my vanilla extract, and I'm using 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'm going to pour away from the bowl over the wax paper, and I'm going to add that into the egg mixture and continue to mix all of the wet ingredients together. Next, we're going to add the dry ingredients into the blended mixture. So we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Next, we're going to add ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to dunk that in, lightly tap it, and add my ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. And lastly, we're going to add a pinch of salt. So all you're going to do is pour a little bit of salt into your palm, take a pinch with your pointer and thumb, and add it in. And we're going to continue to mix our ingredients together until well combined. Want to make sure you get all of the cinnamon blended into the egg mixture. Okay, so now that the egg mixture is done, we're going to test the griddle to see if it's preheated. Now there's a little trick to testing the griddle. You just have to take your hand and drop a little bit of water on the griddle, and if you hear the water steam, like it just did, you know that the griddle is the right temperature. So at this point, you're going to take your bread pieces, which I've already counted out, and you're going to dunk the bread until it's well coated in the egg mixture, and you're going to place it on the griddle. You want to watch your fingers as you place the bread on the griddle. Okay, so again, I'm coating both sides of the bread. And the nice thing about the griddle is you can cook a bunch of the pieces of French toast at once. So I'm going to continue putting the bread on. Okay. Now we're going to cook the French toast until both sides are lightly browned. So I'm going to check the first piece of French toast right underneath. Okay, see I have a light brown color, so I'm going to get all the way underneath with a spatula and give it a flip. And I'm going to continue doing that for all the pieces. Get all the way underneath, check for golden brown color, and give it a flip. So I want you to see underneath the piece of bread. So you can check, it's golden brown, get underneath with the spatula, flip your wrist. Get all the way underneath, flip. One more time, and flip. One other indicator for the French toast, to make sure that it's ready, if you make a little incision in the center of the bread, you want to make sure that it's nice and dry and that it's no longer wet in the middle with raw egg. Okay, so I'm going to check the other side of the bread to make sure that it's golden brown. Okay, once it is, I know it's ready. So both sides are golden. I'll remove each piece